All right, the news of Teron Armstead, the elite left tackle from the Saints, coming to Miami is pretty much all but guaranteed by many of the insiders. Still hasn't happened yet. Was delaying this podcast to see if he was actually going to be signed because it's going to change a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to have to temper with what I want to say because his addition really changes everything dramatically. And what I want to get into is a lot of talk in the media and fans is about this. We're implementing the zone stretch. And McDaniel, with his success in the 49ers, it's going to make running the football and offense fun again. All this stuff. And it's not, I'm not here to deny that, but I want to just deal with to help some people understand the difference between what we were running and what we're running now, because I was getting questions of that in the comments. But it also to add, yes, the potential, but the realities. And so I'm going to do a semi-quick podcast to give those who listen to the show or maybe just listen to it first time an understanding of what this new scheme is and how the Dolphins personnel, because that determines everything. I don't care what scheme you have. I don't care how much of a genius you are. I don't care any of that stuff. If you don't have the players, or more importantly, the right players for your system and for what you're trying to do, it doesn't matter. So first I'm going to lay out what we had, what we're going to. And there's basically there's three blocking schemes, run blocking schemes in the NFL. Man, inside zone, and zone stretch or wide zone. There's so much nuance in all of them. I can't get into all that. But I'm going to give you a basic overview. Man's very simple. Man, mano-y-mano, I got a guy, I block him, I beat him with either really good technique or I'm just begging on he is strong and manhandle and move him on. Very simple. Not a lot of teams run that anymore. They might add it as a staple, a small part of their blocking scheme, but very few do man blocking anymore. Mostly what the NFL runs as the bulk of their run scheme is inside zone. That's what we ran mostly last year. We ran some outside zone as well. No man blocking that I can really recall. Inside zone is very easy. Running back, he either shoots right towards the center's crack or he takes a slide step, gets the football, and shoots towards the center's crack. Everybody blocks guys in their area. You'll get a double, depending if you have two tight ends, there might be two doubles or whatever. And from those doubles, one guy then gets this second level. The running back gets the football, he eyes the center, what's going on there, and then he goes inside out. That's how he makes his reads. So he can actually break all the way to the outside, or he can go to the B gap, the A gap, depending on what he sees. It's inside out read. Okay? That's pretty simple too. That's what we mostly ran last year. We ran some zone stretch, is what I'm getting into now. But the bulk of our run attack was inside zone. And different backs fit these schemes differently. Okay? So zone stretch, wide zone, is going to be the bulk. We're going to probably run inside zone too. But the bulk of what we're going to be using is zone stretch. Now, they're all very simple in the initial understanding. It gets more complicated after that. So what the running back does, he takes a rocker step like a rocking chair, and he points to the tackle. And just outside the tackle is where he's attacking. Quarterback hands the ball off to the running back, and by his third step, maybe fourth, that running back knows where he's going. He starts by eyeing wide, and then he works his reads inside. Despite being called wide zone or zone stretch, the reality is you're not really running the ball to the edge because it's very difficult to get there. But what you're trying to do is create a movement where you're stretching this defense as they have to follow you down the line, and then you're really tacking back inside. But you're not getting at the center in that A gap. You're usually attacking the B gap. And so when that running back gets the football, the most critical first block is the tackle, the offensive tackle handling that edge player, whether it's a defensive end, linebacker, you're going to have a tight end over there. Whoever the farthest blocker is, that's where he's reading. So it's outside in reads. Now, you want to take it to the outside. That's great. But for the most part, that does not happen. The most critical block, though, is that tackle. Because that D end or linebacker, if they can set the edge short, if they're not getting driven out closer to the line of scrimmage, this is going to constrict where that running back's options are, and it's going to really pretty much destroy the play. So having Teron Armstead signed is critical. And if not, Dwayne Brown or Tunsil or drafting a tackle, we need a tackle that can either A, stretch that zone with that edge defender and create a stalemate or defeat them. But they can't be stifled early. And if you watch Eichenberg and Jackson, as far as the tape last year, neither one of them can or will be able to do it consistently. They just won't. They were terrible last year at it. And so this first block is essential. And whatever has to happen, we have to either get these other two guys, the young guys, up to another level, or get somebody in there. And really the safest bet, because everything will fail if this block doesn't happen. But even if there's a stretch of this edge defender and a stalemate, then we go inside. And essentially inside, whether it's the center and the guard or center and the guard, if a defender is over you, that's your guy, you're blocking him, okay? But more often than not, you'll see, especially if they feel your passing attack, you'll see one guy, one defender, either over the guard or the center. Now that guard, if he's over the guard, that's his guy. And then the center will come up and double that with that guard on that interior defender, get control, force that center will force him inside to the guard so he has full control, and then peel off and be the can opener at the second level. He'll open up that gap, and that's how you get that cutback inside, because really that's where the running back is most likely going to go. It's a wide zone, but the chances of getting to that edge is very limited. So it's about stretching that defense, getting these big dudes to move laterally where they're not at their best, get them off balance, create breakdowns, and then the gap opens up. Now, the blocking scheme can change. So let's say you have a 3-4 and you have a nose tackle over, or he's playing one tech. The center then becomes the guy who's manned up on him. The play side guard, if you go on left, that left guard will then have to chip to help that center get control and then come back to the second level. Or if that nose tackle comes straight forward and dominates the center, the right side guard, the counter to the play side guard, he'll come in and double and then get to the second level. A lot of teams aren't running that anymore, especially if they feel your passing attack. So for the most part, it's the center who's chipping and getting to the second level, and that's why I kind of liked Williams. So we have some good personnel. I don't like Hunt at right tackle because I think he's good at handling, getting that edge, but I'm not sure if he's agile enough to get into that space to deal with that edge defender. I like him as a guard to take control in the double, but not so much to get to the second level. I don't like Dieter at all at anything other than pass protection. Williams, I think he's a good guard to help get that control and get to the second level on the occasion that you got someone over the center. But I really still, again, like him as the center to get that double and then get to the second level. He's got that. He's got that good ability to. He understands how to transfer the switch of the blocking and then to get to the second level. Anyway, so this is what we got here, and the good news is we have with Waddle and Parker guys and even Gesicki that will put the fear into these defenses that will kind of put the numbers into our running game. So if you have Waddle stretched out wide or Parker stretched out wide, they can hurt you deep. So this is going to force the vast majority of cornerbacks off to that 8-10 yard depth. And it's going to cause this safety to not want to come in that box and leave that top zone naked. So you're going to get two guys that are going to have to put their attention on the receiver, who for the most part will do a route. Okay? And so the zone stretch with these kind of combinations really is a perfect mix with our talent and Tua and the RPO game. Because Tua can ride that stretch zone handoff a little bit longer and keep his eyes downfield. And Waddle and Parker are good enough to get wins early. And Tua's ability to ride, pull, drop, cock, and release is extraordinarily fast. You might not like Tua. You might think he's too short. He gets too many injuries. He doesn't have the big enough arm. But you can, if you're honest, that release is very quick. And that's going to allow him to have success in that gap between the corner, the safety, and the linebacker. That short, shallow gap, about 5 yards on a slant, or a little bit deeper, 8 on the post. So if these linebackers are not dropping into that zone, it could be very, very devastating and effective for our offense with Tua. Now, but the key is going to be for us to run them into serious focus on our run game, not token. Because if you watch last year, teams, they would just drop those linebackers into that zone for the most part. They had no respect for our run game. They would even, as I said with the Titans, just run nickel all game no matter what. And that's going to constrict the zone stretch, because the one thing you don't want is agile players on the defense who can laterally go down the line of scrimmage, stretch things out until your blocking scheme breaks, and then that will kill your run attack. And then you also have guys fast enough that are playing pass coverage to stop any kind of RPO action. So the most important thing is to get the defenses to believe in this run game, to bring their big guys in, to really commit to the run game, and that will open everything up. But that's going to start with your tackle. And this is why Teron Armstead, the signing, or Dwayne Brown, whoever, or, we know the deal, is absolutely critical. So I just wanted to get into this to kind of get people to understand that I'm not a big fan of zone stretch, a wide zone as the bulk of your attack, because it demands quality offensive linemen, high quality offensive linemen that are mobile to get down the line of scrimmage, but still big enough in short yardage situations where you have to run your inside zone, where you have to run your power blocks to get that short yardage or goal line. It's very difficult. You look at McDaniel with the 49ers, and they had an elite offensive line, starting with Trent Brown and Alec Mack, who, if you go back and you look at one of the big successful stretch zones, was the Falcons. When Ryan had his big year and he went to the Super Bowl, it really depends on having a very good center, and very good tackles, and pretty much offensive line in general. That's why a lot of people run inside zone, because it's not as demanding on the players, on the offensive line talent. And so that's my concern. And then, you have to have your tight ends. And I like Gesicki's ability. One thing I do like, and people don't really give Gaskin much credit, is that we can literally come out in our dime with Gaskin and Gesicki and either throw or run zone stretch if the offensive line does their job. Because Gaskin's a legitimate threat as a fifth option in the receiving game, and Gesicki on movement blocks is a fairly decent enough blocker to be a threat in the run game. And this will cause defenses to be a little nervous about their personnel. And really, it's about matchups. Dallas Cowboys in the 1990s, they just said, we're going to do this, we're going to beat you because we have more talent. But the rest of the universe, for the most part, they got to beat you by tricking you into the wrong matchups, tricking you into the play calls, or whatever. And so the Dolphins really have a lot of pieces, but it's going to go back to this offensive line, starting with the tackle. There's a lot of potential here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And comments mean the most. They do. This podcast is built off comments. So really, comments mean everything to me. Subscribes and likes help us with the Google overlords, keeps us in business. And when our sponsor, AcePerHead, sees the Google overlords happy, that means we get to stay in business and keep on going. I'm really enjoying it. So please like, comment, and subscribe. This is Curtis saying thank you for staying to the end. Catch you next time, and be well. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with AcePerHead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.